Welcome to the Sports Visions television show. Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. Again, this has been a terrific year. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Man, I tell you, it's been a trying time, but God's favor has obviously given us the strength and the ability to go a full year with the Sports Visions television show.
That's right, man. The new word is resilience. Whatever is happening, we're just going to adjust and make it happen.
It's the final show of the year as you see it. Of course, the next show will be our 13th annual high school football awards show. But Dale, I tell you, I'm excited that we have made it to this point. And first of all, let me just thank all of the coaches, the administrators, the parents, everybody that had made it possible for high school football to go off this year, even in doubt of all of the COVID-19 deal. It was just been, I just wanted to say thank you. It's been a tremendous year to get those kids in their comfort zone.
I mean, really, it's been a trying year, DJ, but at the same time, really everybody that's working together, from the teachers to the coaches to the students, everybody's worked together and really to make sure that this has been a great year.
I know you caught hell out there, one way or the other, but the bottom line is I wasn't an advocate of playing it again, but when you really think about, what was done and how it ended up and where we are now, again, those of you, those brave ones of you who made the decision to move forward, to have the season, to play, and I know that there's some coaches and some people, some players, some casualties that had a bad way, but at the end of the day, when you look at the total package and you see all the kids all over the state of Alabama, all over the state of Georgia, throughout the Chattahoochee Valley, all of the things that have happened, Dale, this was a success.
It was a success, DJ. Even in the midst of this pandemic, a lot of good things happened. We still were able to see a lot of high school football. Players are still being recruited. Everything has worked out good, man.
And again, we're just glad and happy that we have this platform to not only share, inspire, and motivate, but also just to be able to just inform you all on everything that's going on. And again, I just can't say enough about the coaches deal. Again, if I had one big award to give every coach, and I know our award show is coming up real soon, and some special people will be recognized, but each and every coach that took the time away from their families, knowing that obviously in the midst of this COVID, in the midst of this crisis, in the midst of this virus, they put their life on the line for the best of our children, of our young student athletes, and for this to be at the end, the combination of some champions, some state champions, some regional champions, this has just been wonderful.
It's been great, man, and I think really just for us being able to honor some of these athletes at the same time during a pandemic and really going with all the things that they had to go through, DJ, hey, man, that's what we do.
And to just take a few minutes, Dale, if we can, off the top of our heads, to thank and congratulate some region champions, some people that went on into the playoffs. Obviously, I'm talking, first of all, Calvary Christian, a state champion over in, of course, their division in their region in Georgia. And it was special because obviously the way the season unfolded and the way our relationship unfolded with regards to being a part of a broadcast partner for them to help share this history, Dale. Now, if you haven't heard the broadcast, you can go to our Sports Visions radio app, Calvary Christian versus Community Christian. This was several weeks back, but that whole story of Calvary is just phenomenal. When you think of, at the end of the day, just not even a couple of years ago, this program was just formed, and again, just the whole story of the coaches' transitions from changing in and out offenses and defenses and empowering people, and baseball players that are, have earned their way to a scholarship, coming over, helping out, never played baseball, organized football before, being a part of this resilient state championship run. Dale, it's a story within itself.
It really is, DJ, and I think really Calvary Christian is going to get bigger and bigger. I think every time there's a team wins a state championship, more of an enrollment is increased. There's a lot of more people want to come to Calvary Christian now because they've already won the state championship.
The Central Red Devils didn't have the season that everybody wanted, but first-year coach Nick came in and obviously implemented his program. Now it's under this first year is behind him and it's under his belt, and look for big things with them.
I mean, really, Central did a great job, and I think really with the new coach, Patrick Nix, I think he's going to have to make some adjustments, DJ. And I think really, when you do have a first-year coach and he's not used to 7A, Region 7A, I think you're going to have some problems. But I think really to have a spring under you, I think they'll be great.
What can we say about our guy, Jason Gibson and his Glenwood Gators? Again, they were right there knocking on the door phenomenal opportunities to do some special things, and those kids had a heck of a run.
They had a great run, and I think really, just for it being number one in the state for the entire football season, but really they fell short a little bit, but at the same time, you can guarantee Jason Gibson's going to have these guys back ready for the championship.
Man, what a heartbreaker for the Auburn Tigers, man, just knocking on the door, just waiting and to get their ring and, of course, be awarded the championship. But, again, the phenomenal play of Thompson.
Great play by Thompson, man. I think really, that one's going to hurt a little bit for the Auburn people, but at the same time, DJ, they did a great job. Auburn did a lot of things that a lot of people didn't think they would do. They beat Central twice this year, and at the same time, DJ, they had Thompson beat, but at the same time, DJ, they couldn't pull it off.
Callaway on the other side, over in the state of Georgia, obviously having an opportunity to continue their great championship legacy. Right here at the cusp. Hopefully they'll make do. But again, to them and Carver, who was right there as well, they deserve a lot of credit.
Everybody deserves a lot of credit. When you go deep into the playoffs, really everybody needs credit for that. But at the same time, DJ, Carver goes all the way into the quarterfinals. And, Calvary Christian, of course, they won the state championship. But Callaway, they're still in the finals, and Pete Wiggins is going to have these guys ready to play. And, Pete Wiggins is always going to have his team ready to play in the last week of the playoffs.
All in all, congratulations to all of the teams. Once again, all of the coaches, tremendous season due to the circumstances. But I tell you, man, looking forward to another successful 21 season. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Mercedes-Benz of Columbus Heart Raffle is back. Purchase your ticket today for your chance at not one but two Mercedes-Benz that will be given away January 23rd. Tickets are only $150 and net proceeds benefit the Greater Columbus American Heart Association. Two winners will choose the Mercedes-Benz of their dreams, valued at up to $50,000. So purchase your ticket today online at mercedes-benzofcolumbus.com or just give them a call at 706-256-6100. The raffle will be live streamed this year, so don't miss out on your chance to win.
Honey, how will we ever tell everyone about the great new brands we have in?
Do you mean the No Love, or the 4 Pockets Full, the Rich Forever, or the In? All of those brands will be here and more.
We have a large selection of LRG and Aku,
Black Pyramid, the Latif Gray, the Hustle Gang, and as always, we carry a large selection of New Era caps.
So come see us at the Clothes Connection, located at 3360 Buena Vista Road, or call 706-984-8575.
It started with a few smaller bills. $50 here,
$80.
$100.
I had good health insurance.
Why isn't this covered?
Well, then they started getting bigger. $800.
$1,800.
I saved for this.
But not that much.
I'm glad I had Aflac.
They gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here, to help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
I love that Aflac duck.
Aflac! Get to know us at aflac.com.
Welcome back to Sports Visions Dale. It's now time for our SEC report. And of course, this is our final report brought to you by our good friends from Academy Sports and Outdoors. And just like with the high school deal, the college season, and especially the SEC season, football season that is, we had a lot of speculations, a lot of doubts, a lot of folks that said do, so a lot of folks that said don't. But one thing is for sure, that Commissioner Sankey, again, took the bull by the horns, and he led all of college football as far as, deciding that the SEC would still play, would not worry about opting out. And of course, they wanted to do the 10-game SEC schedule. Here we are, some months later, right here, a week prior to the SEC championship. And again, a job well done, I should say.
He did a great job, DJ. Really, he was like hell-bent for leather, man. He was going to get it done. The SEC was going to play 10 games. Really, I think for showing his confidence and really just having the planning, that he really did a great job of planning, putting that December the 12th date in there. All the schools had byes that week. Then using the December the 19th would have been another bye too. But at the same time, DJ, everything kind of went smooth, man. Commissioner
Sankey is the face of the SEC. He's the face of, obviously, this season. However, there's a considerable amount of other people that went into that that planning deal that deserve a lot of credit behind the scenes. However, it's just been an extraordinary season. Again, congratulations to Florida and Alabama. They'll be competing in the SEC championship game. Congratulations to all of those coaches and those players and those trainers and those assistant coaches that persevered this year, Dale, even through all of the pandemic, positive testing and the quarantines, and again, just a lot of things that you don't expect just college students. As you and I both were college football players, we wouldn't have thought of anything like this.
I mean, really, man, a lot of stuff went through, as far as that testing, daily testing. I mean, and that has been big, man, because really, DJ, we didn't know what to look forward to, but the testing piece, but really everything worked out so perfectly, really. And really, the SEC did take the leadership on all college football on having this season.
I regret those of you, the players that actually didn't get an opportunity to have their season. From a lot of senior players and juniors that had to opt out because of the virus, and of course some of those guys were looking out for their well-being in the next level and having the opportunity to play in the National Football League deal. But again, when you stack everything up and with all the odds and you put the do's and the don'ts, the positives and the negatives deal, I still think that the SEC deserves a salute, because obviously, the foresight and the insight to push on and to come see how far we've come right now, they deserve a lot of credit.
They do, and just like they say, the SEC, it just means more in the SEC, and I think really Greg Sankey did an outstanding job making sure that the SEC was going to be the leader. They didn't care anything about what everybody else does, but we're going to show you what the SEC is going to do.
In that this is our final show of the year, as you know it, as a complete, Sports Vision's television show. We do want to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. The good is Alabama is still #1 in the country, and of course they're looking down everybody else's throats, knowing that they it's theirs to win. Their championship in the SEC, their national championship, the college football playoff championship deal. Nick Saban once again through the COVID, and of course he had some bouts with the COVID himself, but being just resilient, being the leader, being the great man that Coach Saban has been. It's just been a powerful opportunity to just watch him lead, and of course, set his lead by how his actions are with regards to his players and staff.
I mean, really, he's the man. Nick Saban does a great job. Even in the midst of this pandemic, everything ran normal. Even when he got contracted COVID-19, I mean, really, everything went smooth for as Alabama was concerned. And I think really, when you do have an organization like Alabama does, it's almost like, hey, we can replace. Everybody can be replaced.
You certainly can appreciate Nick Saban when you say you lead from the front, because he definitely did that. We talk about the good, we talk about the bad as far as we're concerned. University of Georgia obviously not having an opportunity to play for an SEC title, having, early on in the season, the stumbles and bumbles of a quarterback and being the respectable team that we know and that we want as fans and dog lovers. And again, the Dogs ended up obviously finding a quarterback. Hopefully, I still think that it was not what we expected. And again, I say that I chalk that up to the bad, knowing that the University of Georgia has a lot of work to do.
Got a lot of work to do, DJ. And I think really, the losing 2 games this year really just threw Georgia right out of it, man. And I think really, the Florida game was the crusher. But I think at the same time, man, Georgia and Kirby Smart got a lot of improvement to do.
So you got the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly is obviously the University of Auburn putting Gus Malzahn, giving him his walking papers. I tell you, after 8 years, Gus Malzahn's had made a lot of friends. Again, both Auburn fans and SEC fans, college football fans alike. But again, I don't want to remember the Gus Malzahn's offensive production or his team's production from what we just saw. I want to remember the days when he actually was the coordinator for Cam Newton, and he was also the head coach for Nick Marshall, and all the tremendous fireworks that they exhibited with offensive production and excitement and all the great games that we were able to see, Dale, over the 8 years that he was here, because this was not an indication of what I remember Gus Malzahn being.
I mean, really, and Auburn football was not Auburn football this year. And I think really, Auburn wants to be that traditional, strong school, being able to compete against Alabama every year. But at the same time, DJ, recruiting-wise, I think really a lot of things happen over there under the watch of Gus Malzahn and the people over there at Auburn. They don't like it, DJ.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We got a special interview with one of the Auburn great players and one of the NFL great players His name is Steve Wallace. I know some of you remember that name, but we had a conversation with Steve on our radio show, and we want to share that with you now. Hey, man, I'm good. It's always good to have you, man. Obviously, this is a sad situation, and again, maybe it's not sad in some people's eyes, but the bottom line is that there's no secret. Gus Malzahn was liked and beloved by a lot of Auburn fans, a lot of SEC fans. However, the decision has been made after a lackluster, mediocre, whatever you want to call it, production this year. It's time to get off the Gus bus, man. And they fired Gus, and $21 million plus or not, he is out of there, and you guys are looking for a new head coach.
Exactly. And then also to the Malzahn family, like you said, with Gus and Christy, we just a great deal of thanks and admiration, appreciation for all that they've done for the Auburn community, took us to a national championship, put us back in the SEC championship game. So there's a lot of special thanks to him. And for me personally, he always gave me a great deal of respect as a former Auburn guy. And and so we just greatly appreciate their time there. But then you get to a point, and like you said, they're compensated very well. And so it's like, thank you. And then it's kind of time to keep it moving ahead for Auburn.
Well, Steve, as I mentioned before, obviously you're one of the beloved Auburn all-time great players. Again, I like to say you're probably one of the most popular non-skill position football player that in Auburn history, because you always, even after your days in the National Football League and playing on the World Championship teams, you would always come home and they would always welcome you. And again, they had Bo and they had Cam and all the Jason Campbell and the rest of them, but you were right there. And again, your name was always right there at front and center.
Yeah, like you said, DJ, it's just it goes back from Auburn, and then I took a left turn going down the highway, which I thought I was headed to Georgia. Been over there a million times to Athens, and then Coach Dye said, "Get your butt over here and let's help these folks who hadn't beat Alabama in a number of years. Let's help them establish standards, a sense of pride, and understand what winning is all about." And then, like you said, eventually to go to the San Francisco 49ers for an unskilled position and to be recognized as one of the greatest tackles ever in the NFL, and to have that love when you come back to Auburn, to be greatly appreciated for what you did for that school, to have them help establish that pride and unity once again. And like you said, and then with Gus, he always made me feel very warm, and his staff there, and so I'm always thankful.
Well, let's get through. Let's get through with the heavy lifting first. Obviously, Gus, again, like I said, was beloved, and then a lot of Auburn folks, a lot of SEC folks. But the bottom line is that the lack of production, the lack of a good football team, it just was not on the field. And again, like I told Dale and Jordan Hill, a sports writer from Opelika a little earlier, I had knots in my stomach, man. I mean, several weeks that when I watch Auburn football, and especially on the offensive side, and seeing the lack of production and the quarterback running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And I mean, that was not Auburn football. When you talk about the national championships that you guys have won with the likes of Cam Newton and quarterbacks like Nick Marshall, and obviously Gus had something to do with that. I mean, I just felt helpless because I knew Gus was an integral part of the national championship as well as another appearance in the national championship and so many productive Auburn offensive football teams. Steve, what happened?
Well, DJ, like you said, that is very well explained. It's almost like taking a circle and trying to put it in match it up with a square, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't fit. And in the past, we took you guys, Nick Marshall, and took it a long way. We took Florida's Cam Newton, and Gus made a masterpiece out of it. And so there's a lot of wonderful things there. And then we get the 5-star recruit and Nick, and then like you said, I guess a lot of times it goes with teaching. When a guy has habits, and I'll try to tie this in with a guy with a good golf swing, or you're trying to learn how to hit the ball, and the only thing you want to know is how to hit it straight. So in order to hit it straight, you have to get rid of some bad habits. And then, like with Knicks, maybe the guys in high school, you can run around and get around them and dash through them and all of that. But the SEC, bro, we have some people that can run 4.3, 4.4, and you have several of those folks out there, and you just can't run around like that. And so you have to understand, like, working in the pocket. Like, you have to learn how to trust yourself, like to tuck that elbow in if you want to hit that nice golf swing and that golf shot right down the middle, or else you'll keep duck hooking that thing or slicing it. And then you have to establish trust. And then that's how you become a better player. Because one thing with Bo Nix looking back, he's, to me, the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. Georgia has a new quarterback. Tennessee used a different one. Kentucky, so on. And even if you look over at Alabama, I mean, Tua got hurt midseason. Trash came in for Felipe Franks. And then Felipe Franks is the quarterback at Arkansas. So you got Bo being the most experienced quarterback in the SEC, and you just didn't see the production, and you didn't see, like, a great coach from time to time. You look back at the great ones like Belichick and Don Shula. They can take the pass and make adjustments with that. You can take the run. And so you can do both things. And it just, you didn't see the progress with our quarterback. And I think it has to be the right guy to come in there and work with him if Auburn's going to trust at moving ahead, or else it's going to be continuous loss to Georgia, LSU, and Alabama. And we don't like that on the Plains.
Well, Steve, I have to look at Auburn's offensive line and defensive line. Now, when you were there, you were big, y'all were physical on both sides of the ball. I didn't see that during this year. I mean, Forrest not even having the kind of size that you all usually have. Talk to us about, the recruiting process, too, because you don't have the recruits that you usually have either, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done your homework on this one today, because Pat Dye, his trademark was being physical. Some of the other coaches that came, Tuberville and Bowden, they were physical. We had guys, hopefully Willie Anderson will be a Hall of Famer, a former Auburn tackle, Wayne Gandy, other great ones. And we were physical up front, and that's what we were known for. And Kirby Smart over there at UGA, like we were saying earlier, they've out-recruited us. They've had a situation where if you watch that first Auburn game, it had to be boring for you Georgia folks to sit back and look at the game, and you're looking at 24-3 or 24-6 at halftime, and Georgia just mashed them with that number 3. Just, man, he was something else. And I thought he was going to be the Heisman after that game. But like you guys said, that they totally out-recruited us over there at Auburn. And then if you look, if we wanted, we had a choice. Either everyone can look at us next year and we'll be talking about the same thing. Like, my God, what are we doing? What's going on? We're not getting any better. And then that's the only thing you want. And you can give a year. And I think here at with Auburn and our new athletic director with Alan Green, he gave it good time. And the great thing, I think the Malzahn family will always be appreciated at Auburn, but it comes a time to move on. All I know my whole life is winning, and that comes from Chamblee High School to Auburn and with the San Francisco 49ers. And winning is not about favorites. It's not about, I like you, dude, I'm going to pat you on the back. And if I get Joe Montana hit continuously for 3 weeks in a row, Steve Young get hit, bro, in 3 weeks I'm looking for a new job. So it's nothing personal, Steve Wallace, but if you're going to be a primetime left tackle, the blindside guy, and your butt better protect our quarterback. And so it's the same thing. Let's make progress.
Steve Wallace, the Auburn great, NFL great, is with us right now. And Steve, you know what? You've also made a reputation of going straight, no chaser. You tell it just like it is, and that's why people love you. And you can eloquently put it together. But at the end of the day, You tell it exactly like it is. Let's go ahead and get to that particular part of it when you talk about the decisions that were made to let Gus go, and obviously some of the names of people that you like, not necessarily the system, but that you would like to see have an opportunity to come in and turn that program around.
Yeah, I think a guy that nobody looks at, nobody pays attention to, but if you think about his accomplishments last year, and Joe Brady, that offensive coordinator with LSU, he's a guy that strongly comes up. He's not intimidated by, I have to say this, UGA. He's not intimidated by Alabama, and he will go after you and try to do everything possible to kick your butt. And so he's a guy, I like winners. I like guys that love to win. And I think a guy who will be overlooked, and I just saw today that he's making another commitment back to Michigan, that's in Harbaugh. A guy gets 3 yards, first down on the 3-yard line to have a chance to win a Super Bowl championship, to do well at Stanford. And I think what his problem has been is he hadn't been able to get the superstar, the speed guys, the guys that Georgia get, that Florida get, that Alabama gets, and LSU gets, those speed guys. He has 1 or 2 up there, and then you have to work the whole offense around 1 or 2 guys, where if you're going to be balanced like Florida is this year, like Alabama is, they're throwing to 4 or 5 guys, and they're using them to their fullest, and then that's why these offenses are so unstoppable. And even Raheem Morris, I want to throw his name out there, who's up and coming for the Falcons. I think he has enough experience, so heck, he may stay there, or maybe hopefully the Falcons get Eric Bieniemy. But the other name comes in. Hey, if we want to compete with these folks, you better consider Urban Meyer and just say it is what it is, because Alabama don't mind paying 10 or 11 million a year to for their fans to not even care about looking at the game. You know, I sat down and watched some games with some of those folks, and they want to talk to you the whole time, because the only thing they want to know at the end is what the score, how bad did we win. They don't even have to watch the game to be worried. And I'd like to have those type situations. And Georgia has them. 7 out of 8 games, 7 out of 10 games is going to be a blowout. You know, Georgia it takes them in that third quarter to kick in, and then they have it. So they've done a great job. And but you know, they have to continue to improve over there.
You know, Steve, I got to ask you this question, man. Is Auburn ready for a black coach?
You know, why not? Yeah, I think back at what was our first AD over there in Athens, and he did a good job, but had a few problems. And it's all about, you got guys out there on the field, and if you can love people, and I'm a guy that, you know, I have a loving heart. I probably spoke to over 100,000 folks in my lifetime, and when you're talking to folks, you can't pick and choose which one. A guy might not have an eye or arm or leg or something. You can't pick and choose. You have to love everyone. And if you can love the players on the field, then why the heck you can't appreciate a guy that'll come and win for you? And so that's a big thing. And I think Auburn made a heck of a stance with bringing in Alan Green, and a lot of people love him over there. And you've seen it in basketball with Bruce Pearl and that group of folks. We're even good at equestrian, but and I want to see us become a challenging team over there. Then it would be more for you guys down there in Columbus to go look at, and you can go to Auburn, Georgia, all these other places, and you got big-time college football, and then that's what it's all about. It's not about the color of the individual who's coaching, but it's about his progress and winning, and then that's the most important thing. Let's go find a winner.
The black AD that you were talking about is Damon Evans, and he was there back in 2010.
All right, Steve, so my next question is this. I'm reading a lot of articles. Philip Marshall of 247 just wrote a piece, and he said that Auburn doesn't have the time with the early signing period coming this Wednesday. You know, we had Jordan Hill come on, too, to put a full committee, but that is what President Jay Googe wants. As a former alumni and as a huge Auburn fan yourself, do you want the Auburn to have a committee to go out and find a guy, or do you want them to hire someone quickly so they can salvage somewhat of a recruiting class that is, many kids are signing early nowadays and then waiting till February? What would you want the Auburn athletic department to do?
It's such a God. You guys and your questions are awesome. I mean, that is so huge because it's not about like we hurry up and do something now, then we got to put a Band-Aid over it for the next couple years, and then every coach comes in and says, "Oh, we're young right now. We don't expect to win." And Georgia and Alabama, they just retool and they get better. They come back next year, and so I think, I mean, you got guys that know what winning is. And like DJ said before, you got a guy over here in Atlanta that has been around winning for a lifetime. I went and spoke to the Atlanta Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl, and you got guys like Willie Anderson, Takeo Spike. You have guys that are very, very knowledgeable opposed to just the money folks that said, I want this guy, or we're going to go over here and talk to Jimmy Sexton. Over here, the great
agent,
agent over here, Sexton, over here in Alabama, Tennessee, wherever he is, and then we're gonna just let him make the choice. He's gonna, pull some numbers, and man, there's some guys out there know what football is. Why? What would it hurt you, like the University of Georgia and how they have so many guys over there as a part of their game day and patting guys on, making them feel a sense of pride, a certain sense of standards. I mean, what would it hurt at Auburn to have the same thing? You got guys that are knowledgeable, and just listen to them. And if you don't make that pick, so what? But because if you take that approach, then you can be great for a long time. Nick Saban only has a few more years out there, and a lot of folks know that. So if we can be great for 5 to 7 to 8 to 10 years, then that's what it's all about, opposed to signing a couple of guys right off the bat, and it wouldn't take no longer than a week or two to find the guy that you want, and then you just get the recruits because Alabama can't take them all, nor can Georgia. It's going to be some good guys out there.
Well, you know this for a fact, Steve, that, for as you being a traditional Auburn guy, that, if you rush and get a coach, you're going to be in the rush to actually fire that coach also, because y'all don't play over there. When you send the jet out, and they're not just riding around. They're going to get a replacement when they start talking about sending the jet out. Talk to me about, just for us having some time, a little bit more time to even just pick a good coach.
You guys, I'm going to tune in all the time because what you guys talk about, you talk about the truth. And I can remember, like, back when Charles Barkley was around, he was like, you guys hired who and what? And like you said, to take your time and do this the right way. And it's just like, I think our big Yellowwood guy over there, Jimmy Raines and Bobby Loud and some of those guys over there, if you do banking and you do wood and all that good stuff, then you hire somebody, bring them in to understand what it's like to work a system and cutting wood and banking and all of that good stuff. But around winning football, you got, like I said before, you got guys that can have a little input, and then you the AD, you're a smart guy. You brought a great coach in at basketball and all these other sports, and Butch in baseball. We're on the map now in all those other sports. Take a few extra days to listen, and then to make a great choice. And then you got a whole group of alumni that are going to sit right there behind you because they knew that all these former Auburn guys that dedicated and put their heart into the football part of it, that we're all in support of you. And then this new guy coming in, and just take a second and listen like you guys said, man. I mean, you guys make some great points.
Steve, of course, Wallace is one of the all-time great Auburn linemen, of course, one of the all-time great football players, period, when it comes to the National Football League. Steve, let me just ask you this question, and I'm going to be candid with regards to you being obviously well thought of. Again, and we can add Bo Jackson to that list. We can add Cam Newton to that list, and you can ask anybody else. It's just like over at Georgia, from Herschel Walker to any of the top black players at any institution in the SEC. Let me ask you this: with regards to your affiliation with alumni, when decisions are made, how often do you get a phone call to get your opinion with regards to the decisions that are made on each and every coach?
Well, that pretty much doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure Bo gets a call or something like that. And like I said, I'm just a guy that stepped away from my home state to help another place win and want to put another place on the map. And you think it would. And I mean, worst case scenario, only thing I'm going to say is something positive. I watched a lot of football, know a lot of football. A lot of other guys do as well. And you got a Hall of Famer down there with Kevin Green, and then, like I said, Willie Anderson will be one as well. There's a lot of knowledge. And I hope, like heck, that they hire a Willie Anderson, a guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer, to find a way to put this guy on the offensive line. Don't give me no excuses about no coaching experience, because if a guy played in the moment, the heat of 80,000, 100,000 folks yelling and screaming, and you make great choices, you make the blitz pickup, you understand what leverage. And I'm going to step off for a half a second and say this. The reason the Dogs, I can see it with my eyes closed and blindfolded, the reason that the Dogs don't beat Bama year in and year out, because Bama guys stay on blocks with, their hands are in the right place, they're right pad level, and they hammer you and hammer you and hammer you. And I think if you look back at the last 5 losses, they may be better conditioned, because something happens in that late third to fourth quarter. And I would check on that conditioning, because when I had to play Lawrence Taylor, if I knew Joe Montana had to hold the ball an extra second, then for me that meant Steve Wallace had to run another mile to make sure that during the course of the week, or if I felt like Joe had to hold it 2 seconds or whatever, then that meant that after practice and all of that, then I had to be running a mile or 2 as fast as I can throughout the week in order to buy that extra second, just so that Joe Montana feels a level of comfort to his blind side. And so that's, like I said, we got guys out there that need to be on staff. And then that's, there again, I'm telling you more than you need to know. That, when Georgia gets ready to play Bama again, they need to run a little bit more, be better conditioned. They need to truly check out their fundamentals, because Bama fundamentals are better. I'm saying this. You hear Steve Wallace say this. They're better than the University of Georgia on the interior line. And so with that, I have to tip my hat to Nick Saban, because Nick Saban is not afraid to hire a head coach or the best guy out there. And the reason being, Nick Saban is not afraid to be fired or let go and thinking, oh, I'm scared to death that the guy behind me is going to get my job. He got, quite a few guys over there, and that's why he hires the best coaches. And you wonder why they win year in and year out outside of recruiting, and that's why they do.
Steve, we made mention earlier that you give it to us straight, no chaser. You got the whole world, including the Auburn Nation out there. We got about 3 or 4 minutes. I want to give you the microphone and be able to share with the Auburn Nation, and for that matter, the SEC Nation, the Sports Visions Nation. You got the mic. And you're talking to the powers that be over at Auburn. They're listening right now. They're just right up the road. They got it tuned to 92.1, or either they have it on our app, or they're looking at it live on Facebook. But you have the microphone right now, and you're looking right into the eyes of those billion-dollar boosters, the ADs, all the administrators, all the high-ranking officials over there. Give them what you got with regarding the next selection as your coach.
Yes, I'd strongly like to say, Auburn, take a few seconds, take a few days, and consult with some of your guys and only listen to get a few ideas, a few candidates, even if you kind of predetermined. And I don't want to just be picking up a guy who another school is going to use just to negotiate. We're interested in this guy, and this guy is only using you to get his numbers up. Then he's going to stay at that school. So take your time. Bring a few guys in, talk about it, get some ideas. What does it hurt? It doesn't hurt anything. And I think the SEC You made a great choice this year. Thank you for having, I scream this out to our commissioner. Thank you for having college football. It gave all of us fans something to cheer about, something to love, something to feel comfortable about. With all the things going on, with all the different separation and diversions and all of that good stuff, then we all come together as a group to love and care about each other. And football is a great equalizer for all of us, because red, yellow, black and white, green, polka dot, it doesn't matter. As people, we're giving high fives, we're cheering, we're hugging each other, we're loving on each other on those game days. And I want to truly challenge all of SEC fans. Don't just be a Auburn War Eagle person on Saturdays. Be War Eagle throughout. Go Dogs. If you're going to be a Go Dog person, Roll Tide person, then love those same folks throughout the week. Don't just love them on Saturdays. And then with that, I truly want to say, Auburn, take a look at some of your guys. And you don't have to necessarily put them at the OL offensive line spot, but bring them on staff to help teach fundamentals and techniques, because if you come and teach fundamentals and technique and put a guy with a big heart, which is kind of how I was, probably the 4-star guy, but when you got guys out there with a big heart, they can take you a long way as long as they're willing to give the effort. And guys, I thank you greatly for just allowing me to spend that time with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, former Auburn great, NFL great, Steve Wallace. Hey, man, we love you. We appreciate you, big guy.
Thank you, Steve.
We love you guys, too. And thank you so very much, all of you guys. DJ Dale, producer, thank you guys for inviting me on.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WRCG 92.1. This is the Sports Visions Radio Show.
Japan, they have something called Kobe beef. This is how we do it at Luke's Pub. That's how we do it at Luke's Pub. That's how we do it at Luke's Pub. That's how we do it at Luke's Pub. Y'all come out and see us.
Headquarter Nissan has the same used cars as our competitors for much less, and with a lifetime warranty.
Their 2018 Ford Fusion, $17,700. Ours, $16,900. That's over $750 less.
Plus a lifetime warranty.
Their 2017 Altima, $15,900. Ours, $15,400.
Plus a lifetime warranty. Compare and see for yourself. Don't pay more for less, pay less for more. A lot more. Headquarter Nissan.
Greetings, this is Reverend Thomas H. Mills Jr., pastor of Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc., located at 3574 Macon Road, Columbus, Georgia. I want to invite you to join us in our weekly worship services. On Sunday mornings, our worship service is held at 11 a.m. on Facebook at Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc.STLMI. On Tuesday evenings, our Women's Bible Study is held at 7 p.m. led by Associate Minister Terry Myers via Zoom. On Thursdays, our General Bible Study is held at 7 p.m. also via Zoom. On Fridays, a word of encouragement is given at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook at Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc.STLMI. We look forward to you joining us, and until then, may the blessings of God be with you.
Welcome to Peaceful River Residential Services, where we care for your family like our family. Peaceful River is dedicated to creating an environment where we constantly exceed the expectations of our individuals. We strive to set the industry standard and be the provider of choice that meets the lifelong needs of your family. We are the caring provider whose respect for the individual's privacy and protecting their confidentiality is our top priority. We are the provider whose most valuable asset is you, our family. Call Peaceful Rivers today at 762-821-1476. Remember, at Peaceful River, we provide peace for your peace of mind.
Put some work on it.
For the best in local, regional, and national sports news, be sure to tune to the Sports Visions radio show every Monday and Thursday from 4 to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Over the past 16 years, DJ Jones and Dale Williams have celebrated and uplifted our local high school coaches and student athletes. So get a behind-the-scenes look from your hometown sports guys. DJ Jones and Dale Williams on WRCG 92.1.
Gear up for fall at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcons report. And I tell you, all year long, it's been up and down, over here, over there. But the bottom line is, Dale, thank God we're here at the end of the year, and we understand and know that the Atlanta Falcons, they'll be shopping for Christmas just like us.
I mean, really, they might as well take their vacation right now, DJ, because really, I think really they got to do a lot of improvement. I think really the draft is going to be big for the Falcons, and I think really it's a lot of things that they got to do, man. They got to make sure that they have a coach this year. At the other part, what are you going to do with Matt Ryan? What are you going to do with Julio Jones? I mean, really, it's a lot of question marks that the Atlanta Falcons need to answer.
You're absolutely right, man. Arthur Blank, he has his work cut out for him, but that's what he's hired, and that's why he will be hiring a general manager as well as selecting a new coach, and, of course, a scouting staff I'm sure will be retooled, reshuffled. But, again, it's business for him, and at the same time, we know that Arthur Blank wear his heart on his sleeve. And again, I tell you, I hated at the end of the Falcons game when they would cut to him on the sidelines, man, and he would look like something near death. And that's just not a good thing, knowing how Arthur came into this situation with so much charisma, so much expectations, and so hopeful of bringing a winning team to the Atlanta area.
I mean, really, Arthur Blank deserves a winning team in the Atlanta market, man. Everything that he does, I mean, he's great. He did everything he possibly could do for Dan Quinn when he was there. I mean, he got players signed. He did everything that he possibly could, man, and I think really Arthur Blank deserves a better team.
I think at the end of the day, just like anything else, Dale, it's going to be okay. And again, it's just all about people. And I think that Arthur Blank and his staff who will be congregating here shortly to put together this new staff of a general manager and assistant coaches as well as a head coach. I think that at the end of the day, we will be seeing a successful program there and something that we'll be proud of. In the meantime, though, that when you talk about the NFL season, and we talked about high school, we talked about college, how now we're talking about the NFL. And again, these guys, the more money you have, the more you can do, and the more, I guess, the safer that you can, if you want to call it that you can keep your league and, of course, your administration and your staff. However, Dale, the NFL was not short of any quarantines, any positive positive testing. I mean, this virus hit hard. It didn't care how much you had in your bank account, what you parked in your car, what yard you parked it in. And matter of fact, it didn't care what your last name was.
I mean, really, it hit everybody the same way, regardless of how much money you had, really, you were going to be affected by this pandemic.
And of course, we see here that we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. And again, nowhere in the world did we expect, obviously, so much so that happened. A lot of players, a lot of stars, a lot of coaches that had to sit out and be quarantined. But as they always say, the show must go on.
The show must go on, DJ, and I think really one thing about the NFL, you got great players, and I think really, thank God for the Patrick Mahomes of the world, man, because the Kansas City Chiefs are still one of the most amazing teams in NFL football. And then you got the Steelers that does a great job. Really, when you start talking about the top teams and power rankings, you got a few teams, DJ, really that's going to probably develop a little bit more during the playoff time. But really, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, I think they're pretty tough.
Tell you what, they've done exceptionally well, but there's some teams out there, Dale, that deserve just an immense shout out. When you talk about the Washington Football Giants, and Ron Rivera, who obviously took over the realms there, the hell there with so much, painted in a negative way in regards to that organization. But he came over from Carolina after being let go, and again took the reins as well. And of course, they have a new president. They had to get rid of their name, their mascot. They changed on the whole identity of the Washington football team, and it's great because they're actually competing and winning at the same time, and they're in contentions for an NFC playoff spot. It's just phenomenal. Again, Ron Rivera battling cancer through all of this, and again, Dale, it's just so many storylines when you talk about it. The great quarterback that they have, Alex Smith, coming off of that tragic injury and leading this team, and just that team alone, again, and it's one of many that deserve a lot of credit.
I mean, a lot of credit. I think really it's probably one of the best stories really that's happening in the NFL, you know, the Alex Smith piece. I mean, really, because this guy almost lost his leg, DJ, but at the same time, to get him back on the field and being productive, that's big.
It's big indeed. Again, the story with Jalen Hurts, here it is, just the last couple of weeks. And again, you know Jalen, the story, and everybody, he was everybody's darling in college football because, again, his humbleness, everything that he had gone through, not deserving in my mind, but still, it was something special on that young man to take on all of these different situations in college, and now having his opportunity in the National Football League deal, it can't be anything but God.
I mean, really, man, he has God on him, and I think really everything this guy touches, it prospers. At the same time, man, you know, Jalen Hurts is going to be a very productive NFL quarterback.
And as you mentioned before, from the Patrick Mahomes and all the great teams, there's still a lot of football left to be played, and again, everything is pointing to Tampa, and of course February 7th for the Super Bowl. We don't know if it's going to be a normal Super Bowl. We don't know if there are going to be any fans in the stands, but what we do know is that there will be a Super Bowl deal. And again, there's a lot of teams that are vying for it that we weren't expected to be in the hunt. There's some teams that we were expected to be in the hunt that are not going to be in the hunt. But all in all, again, it's been an exciting NFL season.
I mean, great. It's been a great NFL season, DJ, but at the same time, you know, like I said, it's a lot of football to be played, and I think really you're going to see the best of the NFL as we watch all the rest of this week.
All right, don't go anywhere. This is Sports Visions.
Should planning your travel be more stressful than staying at home? Of course not. Here at Lumpkin Travel, our VIP service makes traveling easy and fun.
Girls Trip!
We've helped serve thousands of people and families experience their dream vacation by taking the hassle out of travel.
Thank you.
We book your flight, reserve your hotel, and make sure you have a stress-free vacation so you can enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you.
We even help you choose different activities that you're guaranteed to enjoy. And the best part is, we find you the best price at no extra charge for you. Actually, 95% of customers save money and time by booking with Lumpkin Travel. So start thinking about your dream vacation. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen for you. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today or log on and set up your vacation of a lifetime with Lumpkin Travel, your travel agent for life.
E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse has been your most trusted name in men's fashion for more than 50 years. We've offered the area's best selection of top quality, name brand suits, accessories, and casual wear at the most competitive prices around. Customer service is our top priority. We're the professionals generations have trusted for the best quality and absolutely the best deals. We are E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse. We are simply the best.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price. 3 locations to serve you.
Hey, my name is George, and I love the Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. It's like me grilling at home. It tastes very similar to that, except the seasoning. I probably can't season it as well as Chick-fil-A does. The chicken's super tender, and honestly, the best nuggets I've ever tasted.
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
And welcome back to today's final segment of the Sports Visions TV show. Dale, we talked about college football, talked about high school football, talked about professional football, but right here on the cusp of the holidays, obviously, there's a lot of basketball coming our way, high school, college and pro, and I know it seems like we just got out of the bubble with the NBA, but man, they are cranking this thing back up and ready to go.
They're ready to go. The NBA cannot wait to start, and really they always use as a stepping stone Christmas Day, and I think really they didn't want to miss the Christmas Day piece, DJ, but the NBA is definitely going to be ready to play on Christmas.
Absolutely. And again, of course, 2021, we will definitely be bringing you all the basketball up-to-date action with regards to local, regional, and national with regards to the NBA. And I tell you, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of new faces and new places. And again, looking forward to having a successful, hopefully, season, because COVID will be affecting the NBA season, obviously, for the first time, or at least the second time around. And again, just making adjustments, they continue to make the adjustments that they made last year. Of course, last year, with regards to last basketball season, taking all the time off and having the plan to go into the bubble deal, I thought that was an extraordinary plan. However, this year, I don't think that they'll have the wherewithal to do something like that, shut the season down for a few months and then start again.
I mean, I think really, they've already written down what they want to do. They want to play 72 games. They're going to probably get those games in there. But at the same time, DJ, they're going to have a successful NBA season.
Absolutely. And again, we want to end the show by letting you know that we have appreciated each and every one of you for watching us right here on CTV Beam, for listening to us on WRCG 92.1, and of course, all of the platforms out there that you've been able to catch us, whether it's been Facebook Live or through our app. But again, we appreciate your following, and we don't take it for granted.
I mean, really, we don't take it for granted, man. But at the same time, even on the street, when people see us, they say, hey, man, I watch Sports Vision, and that's really what we want to hear.
We want to give you the opportunity now to help us spread the word, because the 13th annual Sports Vision High School Football Awards Luncheon that we are putting together right here with CTV Beam will be coming out on Christmas Eve. And again, the lovely Loretta Rose will be, of course, joining us to help us make that special presentation. And looking forward to it, Dale. And again, as always, obviously, no, it's not the same as we've had in the grand spectrum of our Sports Visions Awards Luncheon. However, when you make these adjustments as we've had to do with COVID, I think that the audience became even greater, because here we are in the midst of the holidays, so one of the most important holidays of all, Christmas Eve, families home, gathered around the Christmas tree, watching television, and all of a sudden, boom, you turn on that sports show and two of your hometown sports guys are honoring the top high school football players in East Alabama and West Central Georgia, your kids.
I mean, that's big, man. They're going to speak volumes right there, because really at the same time, man, we've been doing it for 13 years, and we had to do it this year because we wanted to promote these young men. I mean, I think really they deserve it, even in the midst of a pandemic. They definitely deserve to be celebrated.
And before we leave this television show today, I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you, all of our sponsors, all of the people who supported us, all of the people who gave us well wishes, all of the people who didn't give us well wishes. We appreciate you. And again, we wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
I mean, we couldn't do it without you, man. And I think really the best is yet to come.
All right, well, that's going to do it for all of the Sports Vision show we have for you today. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Happy holidays.